Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you out there in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are. It's another Thursday. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London at 1 a.m. and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to another edition of Talk Back Live. That's the name of the show. We're coming to you live directly from New York City because that's where we originate. And we're here every Thursday. We get together with a bunch of people just like you, and we get together and join in conversation, and you can be part of that conversation. As a matter of fact, I insist that you be part of the conversation. Now, here's how it works, just in case you're a first-time viewer of this show. I get the show started by doing what I'm doing, get it going, throw out conversation, and in between all of that, you can type in, use your keyboard on your computer, on your telephone, or even on your iPad or your tablet, whatever device that you can use to get in touch with us. And type it in, whatever you want to talk about. All you have to do is just type it in, and I will see you right there on the big screen. We'll entertain all of your thoughts and ideas because this is a show of free exchange of ideas and of opinion. And you got to know, if you're just the first time viewer of the show, we come from 3 different places. We're live on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and also live on Instagram as well. And of course, you can pick your choice, whatever you want to choose to be with us. And that's all it takes. Just be right here with us. Now, also, doing everything that we do, we also tell you that if you're watching us on Facebook, take the time right now to tag all of your friends. Maybe not all, maybe you have too many people to tag a few of your friends, the chosen few. And when you tag them, they'll see that information, you'll see that identification, and they know it's coming from you, and all they have to do is just click on to that notification, and guess what? It brings them right here to us. They'll see you, they'll see me, and others who are here. And of course, you'll get a chance to interact with everyone, and we'll talk. And that's how we do things. That's how we get things started. So thank you once again for being along with us. And people are starting to come in right now. As a matter of fact, I see a lot of people there right now. I want to say hello to Cherie, who's out from, I don't know, is she still in Texas? Are you still in Texas? Anyway, sure. I haven't seen you in a long time myself. That's right. And thank you. Well, welcome back. I want to welcome you back. I've been here all the time. And hello to Senior Cigar, Kevin Briscoe, who has his own show here as well. And I want to say hi to him and hi to all of you guys. And thank you again for being with us. Now, what we do also, we have our own little niche that we do, as well as communicate with you later on, not too far away in the show, just minutes from now. Brian Camp will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He has all of that coming up. He'll bring you that information. And of course, you know, if you have any questions about sports while he's here, you can ask him questions. And if you'd like to see him, because we link up with him each week, and you'll get a chance to see him, providing you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. On Instagram, it's a different story. You won't get a chance to see him because, of course, Instagram is not set up that way, at least not for the time being anyway. But you'll get a chance to hear him. You'll hear him. You won't see him, but the rest of you guys, you'll get a chance to see him too. And of course, again, if you have any questions, and even if you're on Instagram, you have any questions, just type it in and we'll get that information out to him. You'll get a chance to answer all of your questions on sports and all of the things that you want to talk about. So that's how we do things, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you so much for being along. And it's been a long week. It's been a long week, okay? And even though it doesn't seem it's been a long week, but it's been a long week. There's so many things are happening in the news, and we're going to talk about all of those things, anything that you want to talk about too. And that includes everybody that's in here right now. I want to say hello to the guys on Instagram, all you guys on Facebook, all you guys on YouTube too. And thank you so much for being along. So everybody's interacting with each other. That's a good thing too. So be aware that's what's happening. Okay, and don't forget that All of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talkback Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any social media outlet or publication, anything like that. Okay, so we got all of that out of the way, and now we get the show rolling. And say hello to a lot of people who come in from different countries too. You know, we want to let you know that no matter where you go around the world, we're right there. We're global, so we're right there. And it's a good thing that all of you guys out there, thank you guys so much for being along with us on this Thursday. So many things are going along, so many things are happening, and I want to say hello to more people who are coming in. They're popping in. I see them on Instagram as well. They're popping in, so we want to say hello to them and say hi. And the entertainment industry, we're going to talk about that because you heard about the stories about that, right? We'll talk more about that later as we go along in the show. You're going to have to be altered as far as some of the things you watch on TV. We'll tell you more about that later. We will tell you more about that later. Okay. The summer is here, of course, as you already know, and we're in full swing of the summer. People are doing a lot of things. People are going out, you know, doing what they do. They barbecue, or, you know, they go on trips and vacations and things like that. And I understand there's a place I like to go all the time, but I haven't been there in a long time, Las Vegas. I understand that the temperatures are going up and up and up. And by the middle, I guess by the beginning of either next week or just before the week starts, they're going to go up to 117 degrees. 117 degrees. You know, I mean, for those people who live there, that's no big deal. And even if you're just going to visit and you're in that kind of a weather, I guess hopefully a lot of us, they go out there, you're coming out of that murky weather like we have here in New York, because we're surrounded by water, so we get all the humidity. But Las Vegas and Arizona and California, they're desert, so even though the temperatures are sky high, it's less humidity out there. Very, very little humidity. But I just found out today that they're going to go up high. Now, the highest temperatures I've seen in Las Vegas when I went there was 110. That's the highest I've seen. But this way is going up to 117 degrees. Now, what is that? Is that the global warming thing? Is that what's happening? You know, we're getting real hot weather, and it's a heat wave in certain places, right? We kind of cooled down in the area we're in. The temperature we went up to about 90 degrees today. I don't think it's going to be that bad tomorrow, but it's still going to be a little warm. So people are just taking off their coats and jackets and all of that. You know, you don't need coats and jackets. I have one now, but I'm in a studio, so what? Anyway, thank you guys for being along with us, and stay tuned, because as I said, there's a lot of good things coming along too. I didn't mention also that later on in the program, not too far away, I have, in conjunction with sports, we told you about that, that's coming up. Also, I am going to give you this day in history. We have a lot of things that happen on this day in history. What is it? July 13th, right? And this day in history, I have a bunch of things that happen on this day in history. We're going to run that by you later on in the show. And before the show is over, as usual, what I do as well is that I bring you those picks of the week. My picks of the week, of course, of movies that I think that you may like. Now, a lot of you may be different areas where you might do the outdoors things, or some of you may not want to do outdoors. It'd be too hot to go outdoors and you want to stay in. That would be a good time to catch up on some old movies you haven't seen in a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to your bucket list of movies that I think you might like, and you're going to watch them over the weekend. That's coming up later on in the show. So thank you so much for tuning in and being with us. And so there you go. So welcome back, everybody. Okay. The thing that one of the things, I got a little bad news. You guys like soap operas? You guys go for soap operas? Well, here's something going on right here. Veteran actress from the soap One Life to Live, back in the 80s, that's no longer on the air, One Life to Live. the actress, one of the main actresses there, her name is Andrea Evans. She died this past Sunday, last Sunday, I should say, at her home in Pasadena, California, from a battle of breast cancer. And now you might remember her character, and she played a villainess called Tina Lord. Tina Lord. And also, she also played in another couple of other soap operas. I think she was in The Young and the Restless, one of those other ones. She was in another one, but she left One Life to Live at that particular point and went on. But anyway, she was 66 years old, and I just want to send all of my condolences out to her family and her friends. She was a fine actress, and she played her parts very, very well. Even though they gave her most of the parts that she played, she was a villainess. But if you look at her very closely, she looked like the girl next door. The look that she had was like the girl next door. Anyway, we want to send our condolences out to all of the people who work with her, all of in the industry, her family and friends. She left behind a husband and a daughter as well. And so we want to send our condolences out to all of them. And we'll always remember her. I'll always remember her as that villainess. She was playing the part of the villainess or the girl that you love to hate. And you know how you watch some movies and you see some people who are a villainous or villains, and you say, I hate them. I hope they kill them off the air. Kill them off their characters, kill the characters also. We don't have to see them anymore. Well, this particular one, she was a villainess, but you love to see her every time she came on the air. You loved her, because they have some villainous and villains that you love to hate, and you want to keep them on for a long time. Anyway, again, she was 66 years old, and we want to just send our condolences out once again. Earlier, I mentioned something about entertainment, how entertainment is going to be changing a little bit, and I'm talking about the SAG after. Well, they're on strike. They're going to start striking midnight tonight. I guess midnight tonight depends on your time zone. I don't know if it's midnight Central Time or Eastern. I'm not sure, but I do know they're going to go out on strike because their contract is up. And the leader of the Hollywood Actors Union voted Thursday to join the screenwriters in the first joint in the first strike for more than, and this is the first strike between writers and actors that happened since 1960, over 6 decades ago, right? Last strike they had between the actors and the writers together, they went on strike together, was back in 1960, all right? And so they're doing it all over again. And so they're going to shut down a lot of things. A lot of things have been shut down already. A lot of production has been shut down across the entertainment industry after a new contract, the studio streaming and services, everything broke down. You got to remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these people who work in this industry are not rich people. And the money that all of these people are making are not the actors and not the writers. They're all the CEOs and all of the owners and all of those. Those are the people who are making the money. And a lot of people don't realize the fact that because of the fact that they're acting and they have these notoriety thing going on, and you would think that they're rich and they're living that lifestyle. Not all of them, maybe some, but not all of them. And so that's why they're out on strike. They want to make sure that the residuals come in, and I can't blame them. And me being a union person and a union advocate, I support them 100%. It was on the news today. A lot of people, actors online, they're on that picket line. The actors are backing all of the writers. And so how does this change the entertainment industry? How does it change your viewing habits? All right. Now, some of the things that you may be watching right now may, not be there anymore, and you may be under the term of I guess people will be running the reruns. A lot of reruns will be coming on, and of course you're going to get tired of that. And not only that, you may see more of your reality shows. There'll probably be more reality shows on the air than ever before now, because a lot of these people, they're not union people, but since they're on strike, a lot of things are going to be taking place. So we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to change the industry a lot. And I don't know how long it's going to go on for, but it seems that it's going to be on for a while. So just brace yourself. Please brace yourself and find out whatever you're going to watch on TV or listen on the radio. Brace yourself, because you may get reruns or you may not get anything at all. A lot of people like the late night talk shows. Well, that's going to change. We're going to see what happens with that. They may take those shows off the air and replace it with something else until this whole thing is over, or they may rerun a lot of things. And if you're like me, you're not really into reruns a lot. You don't want to do a lot of reruns, right? So there you go. Oh, there's so much to talk about. If you have anything to talk about in that regard, we'll be able to talk about that more. But right now, I'm going to go over to Charlotte, North Carolina, because Brian Camp, he's not on strike. He's with us right now, and he's going to bring us the latest developments in today's world of sports. Brian, are you on strike? No.
I'm not on strike. The late Andrea Evans, I think was her name, right?
Yes.
Who passed away. Yes, her character, as you mentioned, was a villainess, Tina Lloyd Buchanan. She was married to the son of Asa Buchanan, played by Philip Carey.
Yeah.
I forgot the husband's name, young guy.
Yeah, Philip Carey was he was the big brother, but
no, he was the father.
Yeah, he was the father, right?
Of Bo and Clint Buchanan.
Yeah. And Clint was the one that she was supposed to get married to.
No, Clint's son.
Okay, which one is that? Clint? Oh yeah, Clint's son. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his character name. Yeah, but I was a big One Life to Live fanatic. Yeah, when I was in college, I used to, on my break, run down to the cafeteria and watch One Life to Live at its best. Yes.
I'm sorry they took all of those shows off. They don't have too many soap operas on the air anymore. The only ones they have, the General Hospital and the Young and the Restless, and I think one more. But I remember back in those days, they had All My Children, they had One Life to Live, they had Santa Barbara, all of those soap
Ryan's Hope, Edge of Night.
All of them. All of them.
Agnes Dixon, I think is her name. Agnes Dixon. She was the creator of One Life to Live and All My Children. Once in a while they did a crossover combining the characters and everything, once in a blue moon.
Yeah. So. And some of them stayed alive. I remember there was when they did the One Life to Live, the guy that played Michael K. Knight, I think his name is Michael K. Knight. He played the Tad. Well, he's at General Hospital now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah.
He's all gray. He's all mature. He's all gray now.
Yeah. And of course, Susan Lucci was the queen of all soap operas.
Yeah. And, I don't know what she's doing today. I think she retired. She might have retired.
I think she did. Yeah. Yeah. So, but it was some good television back then. Some of them have left us. Some of them, we don't know what they're doing, but hope that the ones that are doing well are still here is doing well.
Well, if the people are watching and whatever soap operas are left, and if you're a big fan of them, you got to watch out, because the strike, as I mentioned earlier, the SAG and the after strike is going to take place, and all the actors and the writers are going to be there, and that's going to be a big change in what you watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't know that the actors had unions, but it makes sense,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And, they are protected. So hopefully that their union could supply the best deals for them. And let's see what happens, So, but good evening to you all out there in wherever you are around this world, globally, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere. I greet you all good evening. It is 87 degrees out here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. The high today was 94 degrees. I stepped outside just to pick up a package, and It was like no more than 50 feet. By the time I picked up the package and came inside, it was hot. I was about to start sweating. That's how hot it was. So yeah, so the summer is here. This is summertime, so you got to expect that it is going to be hot. But hopefully we won't get weather like in Vegas out there, 117. I've been to Vegas one time where the temperature reached 111. And then I had to go into the desert for a tour of the Grand Canyon. So it could be hot out there. When I was out there, you had to leave out your hotel room around 5 o'clock in the afternoon because it was so hot in the morning into midday, and it was hot. So that's where we are now. But let me get to sports. Baseball will resume tomorrow after taking the All-Star break. They had the home run derby. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. defeated Randy Arizano in the home run derby. Now, Guerrero is the son of Hall of Famer Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who also won the home run derby 16 years ago and becoming the first father and son duo to ever win this event. By the way, the National League beat the American League the next night, 3-2 to stop a 9-game or 9-year losing streak. So everybody's coming back from their vacation. Baseball resumed tomorrow, Friday. So they usually get like a full week, almost a full week off, and baseball will resume. In the NBA boards of governors approved 2 rule changes that will go into effect next season. A second challenge, coach's challenge. Let me explain what that is. A coach's challenge when the referee might have missed the call. So the coaches will challenge the call to see it could be overturned by video. You was only allowed 1. Well, now they're going to grant it. If this first challenge is successful, then they get additional 1. So then they could have the right call. You don't want to lose the game on a call that wasn't the right call. That's why they go to video. They do that in football, they do that in baseball, and they do it in basketball. The second rule that they're going to have is the game of flopping. What is flopping? Flopping is when you become like an actor, where you flop as though somebody didn't even really hit you. It's more the air that hits you, and you put on this dramatic reaction to the referee, and that's how they get called for a foul or draw a foul. So they're going to have that. The group of made up of players, union representatives, coaches, governors, executives, and referees to be implemented next season, this coming season. Sad news, not so sad news, but it is kind of sad. A Denver police officer had a below-the-knee amputation of his after a fire truck rolled over his leg during the celebration of the Denver Nuggets parade when they won the championship back June 15. What happened was Sergeant Justin Dodge was trying to protect the fans when he was walking along the fire truck so the passengers would not come on by the fans, by the players, I should say. And so that's what happened. They more like bum rush. I'm trying to sum up. They bum rush, and so it happened that the police officer was trying to save the people. Instead, he lost one of his limbs, but he's still alive. Thank goodness for that. So that's why when you have these parades after winning, celebrating a championship, the whole city, wherever the championship is, it doesn't matter what sport it is, you got to be aware of crowd control. So that's what happened. Hopefully he make a full recovery. This day in sports, July 13, 1919, Boston Red Sox pitcher Carl Mays walks off the mound, blaming his teammates for lack of support on the field. That's one way of getting angry with your teammates. You're not doing well, so he walked off the field. 1934, Babe Ruth hits his 700 career home run against the Detroit Tigers. 1972, LA Rams owner Ishray and Baltimore Colts Rosenbloom swapped owners. Rosenbloom became the owner of the Rams, and Ishray became the owner of the Baltimore Colts. That was in 1972. 1979, Angels pitcher Nolan Ryan and Red Sox pitcher Steve Rinko each lose no-hitters in the ninth inning. You had two pitchers going into the ninth inning, had no-hitters, and lost them. They won the game, but they could have made history. 1985, New York Yankee retire Roger Maris, number 9, and Elston Howard, 32 uniform numbers. Two players got their uniform numbers retired on the same day. That's typical New York Yankee tradition. Birthdays, 1935, Jack Kemp, NFL player and vice president candidate, was born in Los Angeles, California. 1937, here's one that some of you should remember. Cal Ramsey, NBA shooting forward player and broadcaster, was born in Selma, Alabama. Yes, Cal Ramsey. 1954, David Thompson, NBA guard, was born in Shelby, North Carolina, out here in the beautiful state of North Carolina. 1956, Michael Spinks, former boxing champ, was born in St. Louis, Missouri. He is the younger brother of Leon Spinks. 1963, Anthony Spud Webb, NBA guard, 5'7". He's short. He's shorter than me. He's shorter than everybody. Guess what? He won the slam dunk contest. Was born in Dallas, Texas. Happy birthday to Spud Webb. And finally, in 1982, Yadier Molina, and Major League catcher, Hall of Famer, and 9 times Gold Gloves, born in Bayamin, Puerto Rico. I should change that. He's not yet in the Hall of Fame. He just retired, but he was born in Bayamin, Puerto Rico. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a hot, scorching day here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Cal Ramsey. I love Cal Ramsey. He's no longer with us, of course, you know. But let me tell you a story. One time when I was working at one of the local stations, radio stations here in New York, and you know, I was in my office, right? And you know, a call came in on my telephone, right? So I picked up the phone, and the guy on the other side said, "I'd like to speak to so and so." I said, "Well, this is not their line." I said, who am I speaking to? He says, "Cal Ramsey." I was going to say, no, it's not, but the voice was so distinct. I knew. I said, "Cal Ramsey." I said, are you the sportscaster, Cal Ramsey? He said, "Yeah." I said, I told him it was an honor to talk to him. I said, "But this is not, you got the wrong line, you know." And we talked on the phone for a little bit. Talked about sports a little bit, you know.
Yeah, former player, former broadcaster. Yeah.
I don't know how he got my number. I don't know how, you know, unless the receptionist, you know, kind of moved it over to me instead of who they were supposed to move it over to. Anyway, that was it. Listen, that All-Star game, did you get a chance to see it?
Not one bit. I cannot get into the All-Star game anymore. I can't get into the NBA All-Star game.
I didn't see it either. I don't know anyone that saw it, you know, but I was told that it was a very boring game.
All these major sports All-Star games, the NFL has their Pro Bowl, that's boring. The NBA have their All-Star game, nobody plays any defense, boring. Major League Baseball All-Star game, boring. I'd rather watch the home run derby, which I miss.
I didn't see that either. But
I had no intention of watching Major League Baseball All-Star game. None.
Well, at least your National League won.
They won, but I'm waiting for the season to resume.
You know, the thing I like, I didn't see the game, but you know how you see highlights and things on TV, on the news. Those uniforms were hideous.
Oh, yeah. Every year.
Especially the National League's uniform. That was hideous. There was a guy on MSNBC the day after the game, you know, said that he didn't like the National League uniforms. He said they look like people who worked at Jiffy Lube. And I looked at when I looked at the uniform, I said, he's right. It looks like they look like a uniform that you wear as a gas station attendant.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I don't like. I remember in the All-Star games, the guys used to wear their own uniforms.
Yes, they did. Yes. 1971, I still have a videotape of it. I recorded off the television.
Yeah.
Is the most entertaining, the most, how would you say it? It was one of those all-star games where you had every star in that era, from Willie Mays to Vida Blue to Frank Robinson, Hank Aaron. It was just amazing to see all those great players in that one stadium playing in the All-Star game.
Yeah. But I watched the All-Star games then, you know, but you know, I look at it now and like I said, I heard from other people who said, you know, that was the most boring game they ever seen in their life, you know.
Yeah.
But I like it when they were wearing their own uniform. They were wearing their own team uniforms. No more. I don't know.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yep.
Well, I guess we'll catch you back here in the morning.
Yes, 10:20. Hope everybody will be safe tonight. Stay cool wherever you are around the world. Stay safe, most of all.
Yeah, well, we got to work on that climate because it's hot. But I don't complain about it too much. I only complain in the winter when it gets cold. You don't have to worry about the biting cold anymore. When you lived here in New York, you did, but you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, I still miss the New York lifestyle. I mean, you know, it is something that's going to be with me. Sometimes you just need a break as you get older and you want a little less, not stress, but you want a little bit of a laid back environment.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now.
Okay, we'll catch you back here tomorrow.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.
Okay, that's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's here every week at this time. And of course, he's going to be here tomorrow when we do the coffee hour. And you get a chance to see him then. Now, you know, just because he's gone, you may have questions to ask him about anything about sports. He's the expert on that. So if you have any questions about sports or anything like that, you know, it's not too late. I could relay all that information to him, and he usually sticks around anyway. Just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and my name is Frank Allan. We're going to be with you until the top of the hour. We're so glad to have you along with us, regardless of what's going on. And we talked about, I don't know how this entertainment thing is going to work out, being that we're going to have the union strikes, SAG, and after, you know, SAG stands for Screen Actors Guild, and after is American Federation of TV, and how does it? Yeah, the American Federation of TV, radio. I don't know. I used to know. Somebody's gonna hit me to it anyway, but. You know, there it is. It's like, let me see if I could go back to that one. I got it written down here somewhere. But yeah, it's the American Federation of TV Radio Artists. That's what it is. And of course, you know, that's a union that used to be separate. Those two unions used to be separate. SAG and AFTRA, they used to be separate unions. It was one or the other. Now, SAG, of course, obviously were for actors, the Screen Actors Guild. And AFTRA was for people who worked on TV and radio. And so, you know, a few years back, they started to merge. So, you know, you join the union now, you belong to two unions at one. You don't have to pay, I don't think you have to pay separate dues for each one because they're merged now. They're merged. But they're out there. They're out there in full force. They're going to be out there in full force striking tomorrow. Because their old contract is over and they want something new. And it took almost 6 decades, over 6 decades to get where they are today. And so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a long strike unless they come up with something, but then maybe not a long strike because you have to remember without the writers, you know, they're not going to make any money. if they don't have the writers and the actors walk out, they're not going to have any money. They're not going to generate any money. And the big companies, these big companies who cry broke, they always cry broke. Everybody cries broke. You know, when their back's against the wall, they cry broke. We can't pay you. We don't have that kind of money. Well, you don't have that kind of money because the money is not going to the actors. And if the money was going to the actors and they were making good salaries like they should, and I believe they should, you wouldn't have a strike. And a lot of these actors are not making the money that they're supposed to be making or they should be making. You know, a lot of them are living just like normal people. I mean, they're acting, they have actors' jobs, they're union people, but they're not making that kind of money. And they're fighting to buy their groceries and the gasoline for the cars, to keep their maintenance up for the cars, and all of these things that normal people do, you know. And one of the things you got to remember, so if you're out there and you watch these people, you gotta remember that these people are out there, they're working hard. They're working hard, and it's easy for you to sit back and watch them do their thing and not realize the fact that they're basically like normal people. They're normal people. They have their struggles too, just like everyone else. Now, granted, some are making the real big bucks, you know, but the people who are actually really making the money are the people like the CEOs and the owners and the producers, not even the producers, you know, because they're all on strike, you know. And it's the same thing like in the radio industry. A lot of people think, you know, you're rich, you're on the radio, you're rich. Yeah, right. I can tell you right now, that's not happening. All right. That you're rich, you're making a lot of money. And, you know, it's like that. It's the people on the scenes that are not making the money. When you go to the record industry, for instance, and anybody that's watching that's in the record industry could testify to this, that the people that are making those hit records, they're not the ones that are getting the money. Of course, they're getting paid per record that they sell, which is maybe about 15 cents per record, per copy. But the rest of the people who are getting the money are the writers and the owners of the companies. They're getting the money. That's where the money is going. So I wish these people a lot of luck. You know, being that I'm a union person and a pro-union person, I say burn, baby, burn. You know, take them, knock them up against the transmitter, right against the wall. You know, get what you deserve, get what you want, and get what you deserve. And I think they deserve it. I think they deserve it. So I'm looking out for them, and we'll see what goes on. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started on this day in history. Going back to 1939, Frank Sinatra makes his recording debut with the Harry James Orchestra. On this day in history, in 1956, WCBI TV, Channel 4 in Columbus, Mississippi, a CBS station, started their broadcasting. Back in 1960, U.S. Democratic Convention nominates John F. Kennedy as presidential candidate. Back in 1977, and I remember this one very well, can't forget it, it seemed like almost yesterday, New York City experienced a 25-hour blackout. Back in 1978, Albania drops diplomatic relations with People's Republic of China. Back in 1979, George Harrison releases his single Faster. Back in 1985, Live Aid concerts held at both Wembley Stadium in London and JFK Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They raised over $70 million for African famine relief. Back in 1987, Kylie Minogue releases her debut single, Locomotion. By the way, she covered that for Little Eva. She did that back in the 60s, Locomotion. Back in 1988, Sting performs his first rainforest benefit at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Back in 1928, Bob Crane, who you know, American disc jockey and actor, you know him as the lead runner of Hogan's Hero. He was born on this day in Westbury, Connecticut. He died in 1978. Actor Patrick Stewart of Star Trek was born on this day in 1940. He was born in Millfield, Yorkshire, England. He's 83 years old today. Happy birthday. Still going strong too. Actor Harrison Ford, who's on that picket line. You'll see him out there if you happen to go out there. He was born on this day in 1942, and he was born in Chicago, Illinois. He's 81 years old today. And back in 1946, comedian actor Cheech Marin, who played Nash Bridges. And he was born on this day in Los Angeles, California. He's 77 years old today. In 1966, R&B singer Gerald Levert, who's the son of Eddie Levert, who was the front runner of the OJs, the R&B group, the OJs, was born on this day. In 1966, he was born in Canton, Ohio. He died in 2006. In 1925, Walt Disney weds Lillian Bounds Lewiston. They got married in Idaho. Back in 1949, actress Jennifer Jones weds film producer David O. Selznick. He got married in Beverly Hills, California. Back in 1953, actor Jose Ferrer got married to singer-actress Rosemary Clooney. They got married in Durant, Oklahoma. In 2013, actress Halle Berry weds actor Olivier Martinez in Valerie, France. Back in 2013, TV host Jimmy Kimmel weds co-head writer Molly McNerney, and they got married in Ojai, California. In 2021, the Spice Girl, Emma Button, who's the Baby Spice. She was Baby Spice. Don't tell anyone. Shh, keep it quiet. Don't tell anyone. She was my favorite Spice Girl. She knows it. Nobody else knows it. Don't say anything. Anyway, Baby Spice got married, and I was all broken up about it when I found out. She got married to singer-songwriter Jay Jones. Okay, so life goes on. We move on, right? Okay. In 2007, environmental activist Laurie Leonard divorces writer Larry David after 14 years of marriage. In 2006, comedian Red Buttons dies from cardiovascular disease at the age of 87 years old. Former New York Yankee owner George Steinbrenner died on this day in 2010 at the age of 80 from a heart attack. He was born July 4th, 1930. He was born in Rocky River, Ohio. And finally, 2018, Nancy Barbato, we should say Nancy Barbato Sinatra, who's the first wife of Frank Sinatra. She died at the age of 101. And that's this day in history. And those of you who know anything that's happening on this day in history that I didn't mention, maybe because I didn't have the information or my producer didn't have the information, let's play ball together. Let me know about it, type it in there, and I will see you right there on the big screen. And of course, I will give you a chance to repeat it all to the people who are watching us right now. So they have it on this day in history. Thank you so much for being on with us. Again, if you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. We're always glad to have you aboard with us. We're here every Thursday at this time. And of course, we exchange ideas and opinions, and we get together and we have a lot of fun together. That's what this show is all about. And those of you, and I always ask you, if you have anything to say, and some people like to sit back and relax and just watch the show and not say anything and not make themselves known. That's okay, as long as you're out there. They like to be like what we call the passive audience, member. They just like to watch and observe, which is not a bad idea, but they would rather do that. But I also invite those people, maybe you are kind of like shy about it and you don't want to talk live. And if you want to talk privately, that's good too. And I've got two options to give you. I have an email address and a telephone number, which of course you can use to get in touch with me. Let me give you my email address first. Email address is Frank Allan Prod. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. That's very important, because if you use the wrong character, like E, or I, or something like that, you'll never get through. That's Frank Allan, A-L-L-A-N, Frank Allan Prod. Prod is P-R-O-D, that's short for Productions. Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. You can call me too as well. The number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. I invite you to use those sources because you could use them by getting in touch with me. Maybe you want to find out more about the show. Maybe you have an idea about the show, you would like to see something, or you see a guest or something, you would say, hey, you know, I want to see so-and-so. Can you get so-and-so on the air? And we could talk to them live as well. I'm always open to ideas. So if you want to do that, that'd be great. If you want to critique the show, that's good too, because we're thick skin around here. Just do it diplomatically. That's all we ask. And any other kind of communication even if you just want to say hi, that's okay. You don't want to say hi here, you want to say hi that way, fine, that's just fine. And you can email me, as I said, or you can call. We're open there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you can call and leave a message. And of course, we will acknowledge that. So again, let me give you that email address, frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. The telephone number, once again, it's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Also, we talked about the strike that's coming along. I don't know how that's going to affect singers. I would imagine that's a different kind of a union, isn't it? Maybe I never heard of it. You know, all of my years in radio and TV, I never really known that singer performers, I don't think they're the same union. But this whole thing will probably affect them as well, because sometimes they're invited on some of these shows, right, to appear on some of these shows. And now that these shows are not going to be on for a while, if they were invited, if they were booked earlier, they have to cancel that, maybe temporarily cancel, and they can't come on the show, but I'm pretty sure they'll find other venues. You know, they go do personal venues elsewhere. So I don't think it affects them that much. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed for all of these actors and all of the radio and TV artists who I am very proud to be part of, and get what they deserve. You know, you don't have to be rich, you know, but get what you do, because you got to remember that it's like any other job. It's like any other job. If you work in a union, let's say, for instance, you work in a let's see, I don't know, a custodians union, right? You have a union for that. Unions are made to help their clients, you know, make sure that they're comfortable with their paychecks. And if they have any gripe about working conditions or anything like that, that's what the union is for. And so sometimes you have to take it a step further. You know, you don't want to pay me, okay, we're going to either hit arbitration, or we're going to go out there and we're going to hit the picket line. They were probably better off settling for an arbitration than for anybody to go out on a picket line. Because the first thing you talk about, and I used to be a union shop steward in my industry, right? And the first thing you think, you talk to your union rep. The first thing this is the steps that I took as a shop steward. The steps that I took is that I went to the union rep myself. And I said, hey, you know, my people, my brothers and my sisters are not satisfied with what's happening here. They want more money. They want better working conditions. And they are being harassed by management. Management don't want to pay them, or their hours are cut back as per union. We work a certain amount of hours, or my boss, they don't want me to take lunch. They want me to work right through the whole 8 hours of it. And of course, you know, if you're a union person, you take lunch. You're entitled to that. You know, even if you're not a union person, you're entitled to a lunch hour. Things like that, unions take care of. And so I usually go to the union rep myself and talk to them. I remember there was a situation where one of my people in my shop got fired. Now the protocol is, and Kevin, Senior Cigar, if you're out there, you know what I'm talking about. The protocol is if a person, let's say, screws up a little bit, which we all do, you know, but enough to say, okay, look, you know, get your act together. I'm telling you about it, so get your act together. And if it happens a second time, so you got a second warning. Third time, the third warning. After the third warning, then, you know, you're fired. Depending on the situation, depending how severe that violation is. You don't want to violate anything. And that's the most important thing, is that you don't want to violate anything. And they fired her, and they didn't even give her a warning, because the first warning is a verbal warning. The second warning is a memo. The third warning, I think, forgot what the third warning is, but the third warning is close to saying, you know, one more time and you're out of here. You know, they didn't give her a first warning, they just fired her. And I came in the following day and I found out about it. And I called my union rep. I said, they fired one of my brothers and one of my sisters. And I said, I want her back on the job tomorrow. And I said, because if she's not back on the job in the morning, then I'm taking this whole thing arbitration. Right away, they didn't want to hear that. And so she got her job back. And so sometimes you got to be very careful, you know, and that's what unions are for. They want to protect you. People are protected. And one other thing, if you're a shop steward, please keep in mind that you'll probably be one of the most hated people in the world, especially if you work on the people who are anti-union. But anyway, that's the story about that. Anyway, thank you so much for being with us on this Thursday night here. And we're coming to you live from New York City. That's where we originate. Live from New York City. We come to you live from New York City. Hey, did you hear the story? Did you hear the story about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Now, we heard that story and it broke news, I think, like last week. I didn't mention it, though, because I didn't think it was worth mentioning, because nobody really knew. They kicked her out. Marjorie Taylor Greene is officially kicked out of the Freedom Caucus of the GOP. And when they dropped that news last week, no one knew, or they guessing whether or not that she really got that news, whether she really knew about that. And for a few days, it was up in the air. Well, we don't know if is she in or is she out? We really don't know. Anyway, the news came out today that she's officially out of the Freedom Caucus of GOP, lawmaker says. And a member of the House of the Freedom Caucus confirmed that on Wednesday. Confirmed on Wednesday that the representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia has been removed from the conservative group, citing her repeat attack on the GOP. And she's done that a lot. For instance, remember the one that she did with Bobbitt, what's her name, Amy Bobbitt or whatever, the crazy lady, right? Used the B word on her, right? But they said that wasn't like the only time that she did that. She did it with other members. And so I guess they said enough is enough. We had it with her. We don't want her around here anymore. Anyway, she was attacking all of her colleagues. Now, the representative Ken Buck, who was the Republican of Colorado, says she's not a member of the Freedom Caucus and she shouldn't be in the future. So I don't know what that means. They're going to spank her on her hand and say, okay, don't do that no more, and we'll let you back in. I don't know what that's going to be, but as far as he's concerned, she shouldn't be a member of the caucus in the future at any other time. And so that was all over the news today. So we're going to have to find out what's really happening. There's so many things that's going on, and it's hard to believe. But you know, she has a lip on her. She has a lip on her, but and she just has so much lip for her own good, until when she was out on the floor, she does things out on the floor. That floor is sacred. You know, she's out on the House floor and she's dropping the B-bomb on Bobbitt, you know. I don't like her either, but still, you know, where's a little coof? We lost our coof, I guess. I don't know. Folks, I want to tell you about my picks of the week. I have picks of the week, movies that that I normally tell you about. My picks of the week, and of course, we always have that for you. Now, you may want to do something for the weekend, outdoor activities, but just in case you want to make part of your weekend of catching up on different movies that you haven't seen in a long time. Well, I have a few movies that you may be interested in. Sure, I do. Let's get started right now. Here's something that you like. I think a lot of you guys like this. Let's go back to 1971, Shaft. I'm talking about the original Shaft from 1971, starring Richard Roundtree and Moses Gunn. That's on Turner Classic Movies, and that's coming on Saturday at 3:45 a.m. Yeah, that's Friday night, Saturday morning. You say, oh, I'm asleep. Okay, no excuse. DVR it. Watch it at your very own convenience. You can do that. You can do that with all the movies. But nevertheless, you can check that out Saturday morning at 3:45 a.m. You may have insomnia, and you may want to sit up and have yourself a cold beer or whatever, and watch the movie at the same time. Also, we have another classic from 1954 called Dial M for Murder, starring Ray Milland, Grace Kelly, and Robert Cummings. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out. That's on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can check that out then. It's another classic movies. And I have one more for you. This goes back to 1965. It's called Marriage on the Rocks, starring Frank Sinatra, Deborah Kerr, and Dean Martin. This is a comedy, and I like it. It was a pretty funny movie. And that's on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's right there on Turner Classic Movies. Those are the three that I have for you. Now, what you can do, too, is go on Turner Classic Movies and go through the program guide, because there may be other sources for you. There may be other movies that I haven't mentioned, not because I don't like them, but these just happen to be my picks. You may find something else that, oh, I want to see that. I like to see that. And I can see it in real time. And none of these movies that I'm giving to overlap each other. They won't do that. So you can watch them all. But if you see something that I haven't mentioned, you can either DVR it or watch it in real time. And there you go. And while you're there on Movie on Demand, they have a lot of great movies from the past, and from A to Z, a lot of great movies. You just scroll right through it. Go to the guide and scroll right through it, and you'll see all of these movies that you haven't seen in a long time. And sometimes they recycle all of these movies so they can make room for more movies. And they have certain dates that they expire, and they take them down, but they usually come back later on, sometime later on, but they want to make room for all of these other movies. So you can do that. Also, you can go there. There are a lot of great documentaries on there. And of course, if you're a sports person like I am, if you haven't seen something in real time, you could always catch it the following day on demand. And of course, you have some of your soap operas there. If you haven't catched them, you can catch them on demand too. If you didn't get it in real time, if you missed something, as I said, the documentaries, all of the networks are there, and everything that you want to watch is right there. Even children's things that are there, they're all right there, and it's right there on demand. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you those movies once again. I think they're worth mentioning. Let's go back in time once again. It's Shaft from 1971, Shaft with Richard Roundtree and Moses Gunn. That's on Turner Classic Movies. And that's Saturday at 3:45 a.m. Eastern. You can check that out too. Otherwise, you can DVR it if you're not up that late. Hopefully, you can do that. Dial M for Murder with Ray Milland, Grace Kelly, and Robert Cummings. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can catch that Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You'll be back from church by that time, right? You don't have to worry about it. After dinner or during dinner, you can watch it. And then you have Marriage on the Rocks, which is also on Sunday, starring Frank Sinatra, Deborah Kerr, and Dean Martin. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. And you can check that out. And it comes on at 6 p.m. Eastern. All of these shows are right there for you. All you have to do is go there and check them out. And I think you're going to like them. I think you're going to like them. And I hope you do. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for me for this edition of Talk Back Live. I thank you so much for hanging out with us for the past hour. We're going to be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the coffee hour. Brian Camp is going to be along with me for the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. I hope that you will be here too. Other than that, I want you to catch us back here next week, next Thursday. We're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live from New York to you, 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's called Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will also be here with sports, and you'll be able to check it out. And it's you and me and conversations for whatever you want to talk about. It's all right here. So ladies and gentlemen, until that time, make sure you have yourself a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stanky. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.